Alas, this is the 59th time that I sigh. I am a pen from the distant land of England across the sea. After accompanying my owner for so many years, I did not expect to be left behind by him. In this dark, dusty corner, I saw the rest of my life in misery and gloom, the same as Oliver Twist. Why Oliver Twist? Of course, because I'm from England. Well, it's that simple. So even though I always boast about being an elegant and romantic gentleman, I can't help but sigh. And as I sighed, a light fell down upon me like holy light breaking through the darkness. It was so beautiful I didn't understand it for a moment, until a puzzled girl's voice could be heard.
Why is there a pen here?
The tenderness of her beautiful eyes poured over me like a soft breeze. And then she reached out like an angel and rescued me from the corner. This hopeless hell. She picked me up and looked at me for a long time, her fingers touching the 2 marks on my body, and wondered hesitantly.
Is this Lucien's pen?
Right! Yes! My heart was filled with joy. I never expected that this girl would know my owner. How wonderful! Is this what the book often says? A meeting from destiny? The girl was sending a text message to my owner, earnestly typing and deleting it repeatedly. She seemed to consider each word for a long time, just as rigorously as me. After sending text messages back and forth with my owner, she smiled unconsciously and looked even more lovely. I thought it would be a long time before my owner came to pick me up, but he showed up in just a few minutes. Although I had always felt he was not very gentle with me, this time I knew he did care for me. My joy didn't last for more than 10 seconds, when my owner took me back and gave me a faint glance, and then he gave his full attention to that girl.
Let me take you home.
My owner said to the girl. I swear I had never heard his voice so gentle. Although I had escaped the imaginary hell and was safe in the warm pocket, I somehow felt that he came back not for me, but more so to take the girl home. No, it wasn't true. My owner had been working late again. That's why I said he wasn't very gentle with me. My silver gray body felt a bit sore, and the nice sharp tip seemed to have worn a bit. Oh, I wanted to rest, try a different kind of ink, and lie on the warm windowsill to bask in the sun. As if my prayer was heard, the bell rang, and it never sounded so sweet. I knew that the person behind the door must be the one I wanted to see most. The girl who saved me. My owner finally put aside the work in me and went to open the door. Behind it was the girl's bright smile. I could finally get my wish to lie on the windowsill and bathe in the warm sunshine. But not for long, for it began to rain. The rain was getting heavier, and my owner, who had no previous plans to go out at all, decided to go out in these horrible weather conditions. Confused, I thought about it, and I suddenly understood. The girl left this morning without an umbrella. I, the iridescent Sherlock Holmes, knew what my owner was going to do. My ingenious conjecture was soon confirmed when my owner and his girl came back dripping wet with a noisy little dirty cat. I looked coldly at the little fellow, who obviously intended to compete with me for my owner's favor, and gave a little snort. A gentleman like me would not be interested in this competition. I didn't know when the rain stopped. The remaining rain dripped from the eaves into a song. With clouds cleared from the sky, a rainbow appeared. A rainbow. My whole attention was drawn to the window. It's my favorite scene, for that's where my name came from. But I knew my owner probably could not see the rainbow. He did not know how to appreciate its beautiful colors. I looked at my owner piteously, only to find a different light in his cold, dark eyes. After the girl left, my owner gazed out the window at the fading rainbow for a long time and whispered,
The rainbow after the rain is beautiful indeed.
My owner was acting a bit strange today. Although he often did things beyond my understanding, referring to them as observing humanity, this time it was different. He had been staring at me for so long, his gaze almost penetrated me. This was so strange. I couldn't help but shiver at the thought. My owner, a man named Lucien, had always been very decisive and unwavering. But this time, I could feel his hesitation. What was it for? No one told me the answer, but I soon found out for myself.
This is for you.
In the bright summer sunlight, my owner gave me to his girl. He smiled softly and his voice was as soft as the warm breeze.
This pen, called iridescent, is a sign of luck. It stayed with me for many years. This luck is now yours.
He opened her hand, placed me inside, and closed it with irresistible force. The heat of the two people firmly surrounded me. At that moment, I was a little dizzy and thought, am I now a love token? As in the tales? This new concept didn't sound gentlemanly to me, but I accepted it with great pleasure. However, my happiness, like the joy in the girl's heart, did not last forever as I imagined it would. That evening, I witnessed their breakup. I saw the pain in my owner's eyes and felt the trembling of the girl's right hand passing through me. The girl put me on her throat in despair, and I knew for the first time that I was capable of doing such a cruel thing. I shivered and screamed silently as blood spilled from the sharp tip that I was once proud of. The smell of blood made me feel terrible. Perhaps at that moment I really felt the same as the girl, trembling with pain. I didn't expect I would play my role as a love token in such a cruel way. I was in low spirits. In the 10 years of my life, I had never felt lower than at that moment. The sunset was beautiful, gorgeously dyeing half the sky. But the people here were in no mood to appreciate it.
The next time we meet, we'll be enemies, Ares.
As the girl stressed this name, a name that's still foreign to her, her once joyful voice and soft expression completely disappeared. Grasping me as she left, step by step, she could not control her shaking body. She seemed to be holding on to me with all of her strength, as if I were her only support. For this, I could not bear to blame her at all. I could only watch the figure of my owner getting further and further away, and the gap between them wider, until my owner completely disappeared from sight. Maybe I would never see him again. Farewell, my owner. The girl finally stopped. I was accidentally dropped to the ground, pattering and rolling into the dust. But she did not seem to notice as she was in a trance looking up at the kite flying in the sky. I thought this was the end for me. So tragic, so painful, so bloodstained. It was like Les Miserables. But the girl still bent down to pick me up. A teardrop fell upon me, yet the warm liquid made me feel so cold. She hesitated and finally put me into her pocket, as if I were something precious. Every day at nightfall, I knew how much pain she endured and how much she cried in her sleep. I thought for the umpteenth time that she would abandon me, but she did not. Every now and then I complained to myself about how my owner could hurt such a beautiful and kind-hearted lady. It was so ungentlemanly. But I could not help but to forgive him when thinking of how alone he must be without my company. Oh, I am such a kind pen. It is often said time heals everything. The girl gradually recovered and returned to the way she used to be. The suffering seemed over, but I knew the wounds in her heart were just like the X marks on me. No matter how much time passed, they could not be healed. I saw my owner again. But before this reunion, I was lost again, in a strange place this time, covered with dust without a shimmering light. The same fate befell me once again after all this time. I sighed deeply and waited for the occasionally incautious girl to come back from me. Soon I heard the anxious voice, and then she noticed me.
There you are.
If I could speak, I would tell her, "Don't forget me next time, my new owner." The girl crouched down to pick me up and gently wiped the dust off me. I only had time to breathe a sigh of relief before there was a flurry of spinning and I rolled out again. I stopped in front of a pair of black shoes. Gee, is this? With his long fingers, the man gently picked me up, and the familiar face I thought I would never see again appeared in my vision. My owner. Owner, oh how I missed you. I forgot my gentlemanly elegance and shouted happily. Did he come here because he was finally regretful and ready to apologize to the girl and make up with her? And then I would see my owner often again. But soon I knew I was too naive. as I listened to the cruel words coming from my owner's mouth and the cold, distant talk between these two. It made me anxious. Why couldn't human beings communicate in an honest way?
Now I should return the pen to its original owner.
With determination, the girl gave me back to my owner. The moment he took me, the last thread linking them together seemed to have broken. I could still feel the warmth of her hand. She left without looking back. My owner withdrew his gaze and looked down at me. After a long time, he said softly,
My little fool.
The words sounded unfinished, with untold tenderness hidden behind them. But in my opinion, should the fool refer to my intelligent owner himself? It seemed as though the end of this story had been written down by me. I lay in my owner's dark and quiet pocket, but he took me out again and put me into the girl's hand carefully. He leaned over to her and whispered,
Never face danger alone again.
but the girl could no longer hear it. Are you an idiot, my owner? I couldn't bear to watch it anymore. The black light in the sky began to spin and spread, swallowing everything. I came to remember my first owner, a good-hearted granny. She once uttered something when she passed me to my present owner.
Give this luck to the special someone when you meet her.
And I am this rainbow luck. When the girl woke up, it was obvious she'd forgotten what they had been through. Looking at the clear sky outside the window, I couldn't help but think, did my owner lose his colors? Will they be found again one day? Because those who have seen the rich colors of the rainbow will not be reconciled by gray.